Today is Wednesday, March 7th, 2012. My name is Stephen Beecham.
I am Brian Tong in a tie.
Ooh,
well.
I love Brian Tong in a tie. I am Molly Wood in a skirt.
Ow, I
And
like
we-
Molly Wood in a
that's
skirt
right.
as well, if you know what I'm saying.
And welcome to Buzz Out Loud. This is special
This is
live coverage of iPad Whatever Day.
Yeah.
The rumors seem to be like pretty hot on the fact that it's going to be iPad HD. But anyway, it's Apple Event Day, so we've got our live coverage going here, our live analysis and play-by-play as we monitor all the live blogs on the internets, and bring you our sparkling commentary.
Yeah,
as
we also
always.
wanted to tell you guys, for those of you that might be just watching specifically at our CNET live page, live.cnet.com is going to give you the most comprehensive coverage literally you're going to find anywhere. You have our video commentary. You're going to have our live blog. We have 3 editors on the ground, Donald Bell, Jason Parker, and Josh Lowenson. They'll be live blogging from the event. We'll also have interactive polls that you guys can be a part of. Fully large screen photography from inside the event. There really is no other place that you're going to enjoy this experience, and we're just excited to bring it to you. There's a lot of people that are showing up. You can hear us right now. We can hear you and see you. So, this is going to be some good stuff and a lot of interesting things, a lot of news coming out on the heels of this announcement. There really is what I find amazing about these things sometimes is there's so many leaks and so many stories of information, but there's still some sense of mystery around what Apple is going to announce, right? You hear all these stories about, last night, one of the latest things was that they won't be using an A6 processor. It'll still be a dual-core A5X processor. Pretty much think of it like the A5 on steroids bumped up with better graphics and better speed, but it's not a new generation chip, and it might be coming out on the iPhone 6. There's talk about Apple TV boxes finally making their appearance, not the actual television, but an Apple TV. But I think the rumor that is kind of juiced us up this morning when Molly came by my office and we were like, could this really be? Now remember,
we try not to talk about it ahead of time because we don't want to ruin all of our live coverage, but we're just like, ooh.
Yeah, but what happened is, right, there was a story that came out about, and Apple's invitation said, we have something we'd really like you to see and touch. And everyone's like, okay, could it be 2 things? And it could be other things, but a lot of times Apple doesn't do these things, and no one had figured out. Yesterday, The Guardian put up an article, and everyone just started to run with it. And what could potentially be this touch feature is technology from a company called Senseg. And they came over to our offices to showcase this. And this is not just haptic feedback where when you touch a screen you feel a response, but this is feeling textures through the touch screen. Silk, a rough rock. And they talk about how it could be used in gaming elements. Not necessarily, but you had, a great idea where...
Yeah, I mean, I thought it sounded super promising, and I could imagine that maybe they wouldn't go full bore with, you can feel the rough rock when you're playing the game right now, or you could cut your hand on the
edge of the knife,
Infinity Blade sword.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know, right?
I like that.
But I was interested and intrigued by the possibility that they could do a touchscreen keyboard that starts to feel more like real keys,
like the ridges,
so that you could actually potentially touch type on an iPad, which I think would be super cool, because I think a lot of people, even with a little bit of haptic feedback or the little clicks, still feel like it's not quite enough response for them to be able to type quickly. They're still kind of looking here and there. But if you actually had this sensation of typing on a keyboard, I think that's super interesting.
Yeah, I personally don't like that whole buzzing haptic feedback feel, but if I was able to slide my fingers and have some sort of texture that I could feel there. And the video that Rafe Needleman, one of our editors here at CNET, did an interview with Senseg, and he was running his finger over. They had this demo where there were 3 different textures on the screen, and it felt different depending on where he did this. And there's no moving parts that are part of this screen.
Yeah,
it's all done in the electronics.
It's pretty.
It creates a friction.
It sounds pretty remarkable. Now, the company sort of hinted that this might be present in the new iPad, but they can't say anything until it's announced. Personally, I have to admit that I would be pretty surprised if this technology is in there to the hilt, because Apple is not one to embrace super cutting edge technology because they just really want things to work. But I could see some small iteration of it, like maybe a more tactile feeling keyboard, that kind of thing. So
and kind of a subtle implementation off the bat.
Exactly, and building up to more. One thing that I'm surprised to see is that the reports of it having 4G LTE just keep gaining steam, and it's being reported now as though it's all but confirmed that it's going to have 4G built in, which I think makes sense from a data perspective, but to me still seems I don't know.
Like, it doesn't match with what Apple has done in the past.
Yeah, 4G still seems a little bit fragile to me for Apple to jump on board. But I guess if they were going to do it, then having it in the data only implementation maybe would make more sense than having it be in the phone, which you rely on for calls.
Yeah, one thing that might be maybe a little tricky, and I know if there is a 4G iPad, I've always purchased the 3G version just to give me that option. They're going to have an AT&T and a Verizon flavor.
Right.
And I know which flavor I'm going to get if that's the case. It would be a Verizon 4G LTE based one. They have shown, there obviously have been hiccups with all 4G connectivity and networks, but overall, I would have to lean towards the Verizon 3G one. Even when the iPad 2 came out, people were leaning more towards the Verizon one in general. Mm-hmm. In general. Now, it depends on your location and signal, so.
It does, always, yeah. Verizon does still have the biggest 4G network by far, and supposedly the most reliable, although they have had so many problems with the 4G network already with that rollout. The Nexus, Galaxy Nexus people have been reporting all kinds of problems, not just with the actual device, but the 4G network. Like, there are outages all the time. I don't know, this is the only one where I'm happy to be proven wrong, but I'm not sure we're going to see 4G in this device.
Yeah, I mean, every report says yes, so I'm gonna have to say yes, right?
Yeah.
I mean, there's quite a lot. Now, one thing that we wanted to ask you guys out there, the listeners, and also we want to welcome some of the new viewers and listeners who might be watching this from some of our other partners, like on Ustream, and other ways that you guys can see our content. Really, though, what is the most important feature for this iPad for you guys, right? They've talked about the high-res screen. I think that's the one that's going to blow me away. Obviously, this whole touch thing was the hot rumor right now. But the one that's going to make the difference is going to be the high-res screen for me. Is it 4G wireless? Is it Siri implementation or a faster CPU? Like, for you, if you were you have a first-gen iPad.
I do.
Are you? Does the prospect of an iPad 3, is that titillating to you?
Yeah, I mean, I got to be honest, it's not. I don't see right now a lot of reason to upgrade. Now, today's announcement is all about that reason to some extent, but I feel like the iPad 3 is all about new tablet buyers. They still have such a huge potential market that even if nobody upgrades except for the most diehard fans, I think they still have the potential to sell a ton of iPads. Yeah. But I don't know what it would take. I mean, it's sort of like one of those things where it works great. I guess I wish the screen were higher res, but really I'm not the one who uses it. So it has to go pretty far. I think it has to have something really compelling to be something that you want to upgrade to. But that said, I think they're going to sell a ton of them.
Yeah, I think though you're not in a unique position, right? There's a lot of people that some of the numbers that are out there. See, people are still trying to figure out. Like even myself, that I have an iPad and I have a laptop. Once I got a MacBook Air, I started using my iPad a lot less because the novelty of having a thin, light device now is kind of transferred over to my laptop that I can do a lot more things. Now, do I love my iPad? Yeah. Am I probably going to buy the new one? Let's be honest. Yeah, but plenty of my friends, this tablet market still comes down to a use case scenario. Right. There's a lot of people that are buying them that want one. They may not have the ultimate or the best use case. They're still buying them, but Apple is still selling, over 55 million in their last report. Tablet market penetration still, though, is only about 10% in U.S. households. So there's a lot of room to grow there for people that even want to try their first tablet or upgrade from their original iPad.
And the thing that I think is interesting, the thing I'm really going to be keeping an eye on at this point is price. Because there have been rumors that the new one could be, or new ones, right? We might see more than one model, who knows? That there are rumors that it could be more expensive. That, Apple's legendary for introducing the next year's product at the exact same price as the previous one. And the rumors say that especially if they're going to go with that Retina display, that's an expensive component. That the next iPad, which by the way, it sounds like we're 90% sure it's going to be the iPad HD, and not the iPad 3.
I'm going to wait till it comes out. I'm going to hold back on that. I'm not going to.
I'm pretty sure we're just here to do rumors right now, since it hasn't started yet. Indulge
until
me.
Until anything is official, it could be a walkie-talkie. For all I know,
that's true. It could be
actually
a walkie-talkie.
A 9.7-inch Siri-enabled walkie-talkie.
That would be sweet.
There you go.
That would be sweet.
Boom, a Voxer.
So
look it up.
So what's going on here? Keep refreshing if you need to. Obviously, every site and live blog is going to be having various issues today. We are live at live.cnet.com with our live blog and this video, which is a great place to kind of get all the coverage at the same time, and it's beautiful looking.
At the same time.
At the same time.
At the same time.
It's right there.
Yeah, right there.
If you are having, problems that you cannot overcome, obviously we're also at cnet.com/live, which is just the video and chat. And keep trying. Keep trying. But so from what I can tell, we had a brief hiccup with the live blog that people were reporting, but it seems to be fine now.
Yeah, and just
get in early so that you're
get in early and pray that you paid for that business class internet connection.
That's right.
Or just use your own companies, because I know there's a lot of you here that are at work that are not supposed to be doing this right now, but we appreciate it.
I know, we appreciate it. Thanks for joining us.
Just to go,
this is like our honestly, these live coverage events are like our favorite thing to do.
They are. There's a lot of electricity, and no, it's not because it's an Apple and someone's like, oh, what, you brought out the tie and collared shirt for an Apple event?
Do you know how much TV we're gonna have to do today? I've already done like 3 TV interviews. He's probably gonna be CNN Central later on. The tie is for the working.
You also might be able to find me later today on The Insider.
Really?
Seriously.
That is awesome.
Okay, let's stop talking about ourselves, though. Let's get back to, because that's just silly. No one wants to hear that. I want to get back to...
I want to hear that.
Okay, I don't. Okay, so we're going to get back to kind of just some of the polls that we talked about. If you go, again, to our live blog, where everything is at live.cnet.com, the poll, which is embedded in there, and I hope that people that are watching, our friends that are running the live blog, put that poll back up somewhere higher.
Yes.
Because this thing moves really fast. Currently, based on the number of responses, which they don't show us, 55% of all of you that are voted on the live blog say the high-res Retina screen is the number one thing for you.
Yep.
15% say the 4G wireless, 11% say Siri on board, and faster CPU is 18%.
Interesting.
I've got to say...
I agree, though. I have to agree with those results. And I even think the 4G, I think that is telling that the numbers of people who are... Because not that many people really want to pay a monthly fee for an iPad. I just don't. I think buying a tablet under contract is just generally a losing proposition.
Yeah.
Even if it's 4G, I sort of feel like there's Wi-Fi. These devices, it's not the kind of thing that you have to pull out on the street corner and look something up. That's what your phone is for.
Although, let's be honest, I think I can be one of the many witnesses that have seen someone whip out an iPad at like a sporting event or a concert to take a picture. I'm embarrassed.
You've seen that?
I'm embarrassed.
Okay, because I think the camera to me is the zero impact feature. I do not care. I understand it's terrible in the iPad 2, but I cannot imagine a scenario in which I would use an iPad to take photos, but I hear reports that it happens.
I know you can't imagine,
It's
but
like
I've seen
Bigfoot.
it. Like at a Warriors game, okay, homeboy whipping out his iPad
No.
to take a picture. I'm like, what are you doing?
No.
I just want to throw like a fry at the back of his head or something. Just, dunk. Just stop that.
And I think you should. Yeah. I think you definitely should. Oh, Gil SD in the chat room. He's like, clearly you've never seen me walking on a street corner.
Gil, you know what? We have regulars here, and I love all of our listeners, but don't use an
That's crazy.
Now, if there's a higher res camera, like a truly HD, it already has a 720p capture on it, but a higher megapixel, that's all right.
Look at the Rob Red in the chat room, who, by the way, is a longtime tipster, and he said he thinks we're going to see LTE, but he said he uses the video in the iPad 2 all the time, mounted in his 4x4.
Okay, video legit. Stills. This still is like a it's like a 2 megapixel still. It's ugly.
Yeah, I know it's bad.
Straight ugly, but
it is really bad.
They're going to address that. We'll see it.
All right. So now, what do you think? Because there were earlier rumors that pointed at the possibility of 3 different iPad models. Now that could just suggest the different sizes, the capacity models. But what do you think are the odds of a smaller iPad today?
Here today, zilch.
Really?
Slim to none, and Slim left the building.
Really?
Personally, I think at this event, I don't think their market and their dominance in sales has still shown they don't need to go there, and I don't think they would rush a 7-inch one out. Some of the reports are saying that how the manufacturers, Digitimes, which always seems to get some sort of like crazy supply channel in,
some dish, yeah.
They've reported that they're looking to produce potentially this 7.85-inch tablet, but in the third quarter of 2012. And we really haven't seen any other evidence other than just people talking about it that they might do it. So, and there's just not enough evidence to me that points that we'll even see it here.
Interesting.
That's
All right.
that's my take.
I mean, it makes sense because it's a little bit too early for the complete reversal. We have seen complete reversals
Yeah.
like that before. Like we will never put an FM tuner in an iPod, right? And then it happened. It does seem a little early for the complete reversal, but I guess I wouldn't be that surprised if we saw a smaller version that was aimed at education.
And I think it makes absolute sense.
You just think
right?
that's later. Like today
Yeah.
is all sexy iPad.
I more than anything is because Apple also has tended to address the lower end market once they feel like their product has matured to the point where let's say the high end champion product isn't the big deal anymore.
Right.
And so then they're like, okay, let's diversify our line. Let's look at how they did it with the iPhone. Initially, they're still selling iPhone 3GSs now, right?
Yeah.
But that took around 3 or 4 years. So from a strategic standpoint, I just don't see them doing it yet, but I think it makes absolute sense. At the same time, a smaller tablet, the margins probably aren't going to be as high. And we know how Apple loves their beefy margins. So I'm going to lean towards nay.
Interesting.
Hey, you
All
guys-
right.
Were you kind of leaning towards yay?
I'm thinking, I feel like it's 50-50.
Okay.
Hey,
What's
real
up,
quick,
Steve?
sorry to interrupt, but I think we have Donald Bell on
Great.
the phone
This is
inside
excellent.
the Apple event.
Outstanding.
Donald, actually, I think I just lost him.
Oh no!
Sorry for the false alarm.
That's the magic. That's the magic dial tone. But we'll talk now. We'll talk some more because we like to.
We love to
We,
talk.
we could talk for an hour about
We
this
actually,
because it's
we've
all.
been talking about it for half an hour before we even got in this room. And then everywhere, I mean, sometimes I feel like the hype is overblown, but this event feels really big. And even in the CNET halls, the product managers and the engineers next to our little pod, we're all standing around talking about, well, will there be an Apple TV? Is there going to be another device announced? Or is there going to be the haptic? Everybody's kind of psyched about the potential for some really cool haptic touch thing.
Yeah. Now everyone's like, we were jumping and we're like, wow, that could be pretty cool.
Right. What I think is interesting, back to that margins comment, there have been some reports and rumors that the iPad whatever could be more expensive than the previous model. Now, Apple's obviously pretty legendary for introducing the next thing at $499, right, when it costs the same. But if it's more expensive, well, it's kind of interesting because it's a double-edged sword. More expensive is bad. But if they do this like amazing Retina display and all these new high-end components and the price is the same, then holy Foxconn disaster.
Wait, what? Oh, holy
It
Foxconn!
kind of-
I thought you said something
I
else.
did not. No, I said Foxconn. But it feels like, how it would.
It's PG-13 here.
Don't you think
kids.
they would get in trouble all over again for squeezing margins like that out of
Well,
the factories? And people, I mean, I laugh, but people in the chat room have brought that up. Like, would it even be possible? How much abuse would it take to get this product on the market with these high-end components at the same price? So I guess what I'm getting at is a long-form way of saying I wouldn't be surprised if it's more expensive. And I wouldn't be surprised if they keep the iPad 2 on the shelves,
I was just gonna.
a la iPhone 3G, as the cheaper option.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. I don't know if they're gonna do it. I was gonna ask you. My next question is like, forget about this whole 7-8 inch tablet thing.
Right.
Do you think they will keep if we were playing around? Do you think that they might keep the iPad 2 on the shelf still?
I do think so. Yeah,
If they're
I
not
can
calling this the
definitely see them do
iPad
that.
3, then the chances of it staying on the shelf is a lot more likely. And I just heard a little.
Yeah, I got Donald Bell on the
I
phone.
heard our
everyone.
phone. I heard our phone cough.
I know he's like
Donald.
hem.
How's it
Donald
going,
Bell,
Donald?
senior editor at CNET, covers our tablet game. Used to cover MP3s, but MP3 players really don't exist anymore.
And now he just covers the iPad.
Donald, tell us what's
See,
going
now,
on over
now
there.
I'm the staff photographer at these events, apparently. So, yeah.
So-
I'm over here taking pictures. I'm off on the sidelines just next to the stage and trying to not offend Apple in some manner, which is difficult.
I like it.
What's the vibe
They're
going?
relatively gracious.
Donald, what's the vibe like in there?
People are all hopped up on the free coffee. I see some people eating off the fruit plate stash that they were able to get before the show. But no one's jumping out of their seats or losing their SEN. But people seem pretty excited.
Is there the feel? We were just saying that there seems to be this feeling in the air that today is going to be a pretty big event. Do you have that sense over there?
Yeah, I think people are optimistic that there'll be something to wow them. I think they're coming off of the iPhone 4S event, not necessarily being one that they walked away with that transcendent, feeling like they just came out of church. This one hopefully will be a little bit better. And the lights are dimming. I probably have to go.
Oh wow,
Oh.
that was
guys.
quick. Okay.
All right. Bye, Donald.
Thanks, Donald.
We look forward to your photos.
One of the things that I was gonna talk to Donald or ask him, and we have our own ideas here, is what does Apple really need to do to impress people, right? Because he mentioned and referred to the iPhone 4S launch, and at the time where everyone's like, oh, I wanted more, because everyone was expecting this great new iPhone and they didn't get it. But really, for you, what do you think Apple has to do just to, to impress enough?
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. I don't think they have to do that much.
Me too.
No matter what happens, they're going to sell iPads because nobody needs a tablet, but everybody wants an iPad when they see it. So if it comes out and it does, if it has the super high res display, if it's the same size, if it's a little bit thinner and it's the same-ish price or a little bit more, they're going to be fine, right? Apple, no matter what, they're going to be fine because there are millions, tens of millions of people out there who don't have tablets, who will look at this or an iPad 2 and say, okay, I'm in. So I actually think they could disappoint. They could do an iPad 2S, and still come out of this just fine.
Okay, so it's around 10 a.m. We don't know when the actual keynote is going to immediately start, but I think it would be fun.
Tim Cook
Tim Cook
is
out.
entered the stage? Oh, okay, well, there you go.
I know. So keep watching the live blogs, everyone. Tim Cook has come out, and we are looking forward, by the way. This is his first, the iPhone 4S announcement was his first sort of big appearance as CEO, but this is a major, major announcement for him. We're looking to see what kind of role he plays. And he is starting off now talking about the post-PC revolution and how Apple is at the forefront of leading the revolution.
Yeah, this is a big deal for Tim Cook because this will really be, like you said, his prime time to shine. And a lot of times he's handed off some of the product stuff over to Phil Schiller. I hope that he's the one that kind of talks about and steps up to the plate to reveal all this iPad 2 stuff. For those fashionistas that are wondering what Tim Cook is wearing, it appears to be a dark denim and a dark gray long sleeve collared shirt.
Yeah, it's similar to the uniform, but not exactly the same, which seems not tucked in, though. Not tucked in the shirt.
I wonder if
I find that a bit of a
business
surprise.
casual.
What about, it's not
Pretty
not the half tuck.
Yeah.
The half tuck would have been cool.
The half tuck would have been okay. This is like untucked and a little wrinkly. I'm surprised.
He should have got a Steam.
You should have got a Steam. I would have, just a Steam right at the beginning.
He looks good.
Yeah, so he's saying that we are now at the place where the PC is no longer at the center of the world. Things need to be more portable and personal than any PC has ever been. And he says the company already has 3 of those in the iPod, the iPhone, and the iPad. How adorable. He's still talking about the iPod.
It's still significant. He adds on, in many ways, the iPad is reinventing portable computing, and it's outstripping the wildest of predictions. And that is true.
That is true
That
about
is
the
true.
iPad. Yep.
I made a statement at the end of our prediction show last year that I thought that people might be figuring out maybe the tablet's not for them, but it's clearly still accelerating at a high pace.
He says last year Apple sold 172 million post-PC devices, so including, I would assume, all 3 of those.
iPod Touch,
iPod
iPhone,
Touch,
and
yeah, exactly.
iPad. Yeah.
The momentum, he says, has been staggering, and that's been one. Post-PC devices made up 76% of our revenues, Tim Cook says. Wow. 76% of revenues. And it's true. I mean, every survey, every Forrester research study, every new Nielsen study says that smartphones and tablets are outstripping PC sales by far.
Mm-hmm. And you have these, Wall Street and these estimates that they throw out there. With the iPad looming, Barclays rated Apple's stock at $710 today. Okay?
Yeah.
Those sales get the Wall Street guys happy, and all of a sudden these analysts are like, boom, we're going to take this number and go,
yeah.
They're rolling with it.
I mean, there has to be an end at some point, but I'm not sure it's coming anytime soon.
Yeah, their momentum is crazy.
He says part of the reason that they've had such staggering sales, that they've had, gotten so much of their revenue from these devices, is that they believe that the things that make a great post-PC company are the things Apple has been about for years. Which probably, I assume, I'm gonna leap ahead. Yeah. I bet he's gonna say that it's all about interface, simplicity, and touch.
It's good that your page is refreshing faster than mine. So.
It's not. I actually made that up. I'm just I'm trying to read his mind.
Oh, okay. Yeah. That's good. So as you know,
I'm just guessing. If I thought.
If I pondered. So what we have going on, right? We have our live blogging team on the site. Sometimes during the course of the keynote, there are some technical hiccups because they're getting pounded over there. The journalism mecca. Everyone in the journalism world is just descended on Yerba Buena Gardens in San Francisco. So.
Yeah, so we're monitoring multiple live blogs, and we're obviously also looking at Twitter to kind of get updates as quickly as we can, and we'll just we'll keep giving them to you as the little nuggets come in.
Yeah, one thing that you guys can be sure of is that the Apple online store is down. So if you're looking to buy that extra mouse, you won't be able to. Your little video cable, not going to happen. So typically that points to the fact that there will be new products that come out after the end of this announcement.
And listed very soon, yeah. All right, everybody, if you guys are, if those of you in the chat room are on live blogs that are working, please keep the updates coming our way because we're continuing to watch. But it looks like every live blog that I'm looking at right now is pretty paralyzed. Yeah.
So we'll just be like, okay.
Well, you know what? Earlier there was a report on our live blog that coverage within Moscone itself was pretty spotty today. So it's possible that it's possible that even their connectivity is out inside there. So don't worry though, stick with us because we're still watching and we have multiple sources, multiple outlets for finding out.
Well, while we're here waiting to see when the coverage starts picking up and the signal gets out from everywhere, what's if you had to do one kind of silly bold prediction about today, and we're not here to be accurate, what would you throw out there? What spaghetti sticks on the wall for you today?
I get the only one that I think is that just feels possible to me is a smaller version.
Really?
Some other version, yeah.
Yeah. Right now.
All right, so it looks like I found one that is working. Thank you guys. Let's back up a little bit. Oh, luckily though, luckily Tim Cook is following the usual keynote technique, which is talk about how awesome they are while everybody tries to refresh their live blog. So they are talking about the stores right now. But back to when he was saying that Apple's strengths are in the post-PC world, he was saying, the retail stores, for example, cater strongly to buyers of iPads and iPhones because there's a place where they can actually discover them. They are showing off the new Grand Central store that just opened, saying the turnout there was off the charts, and they're actually doing a video tour of the place. See, you didn't miss that much. Well, everything's fine.
That's one of the, underrated pieces, but has been gaining a lot more attention. Just the big machine that the retail stores are.
Yep.
A while ago, many years ago, I used to work there when it first started, and just kind of the concept. The concept at the time was really all about service, right? The whole Genius Bar, just the whole experience. Because this is when Apple was not the Apple that we know today. This is when Apple was struggling to kind of try and make ways into the home consumer market, and really their stores at that time were the only way that people could feel the brand. Now it's changed completely different where, metrics are more of a priority, and you have, they're trying to upsell you on X, Y, and Z, just like a regular retail chain. So the identity or the philosophy has changed some, but at the core of it, they're still all about the service. So
Tim Cook is back on stage. There was big applause for that, and it looks like now he is starting to talk about iOS.
Hey.
Yep.
Now we know, at least in relationship to iOS right now, iOS 5.1, the Gold Master internally has been approved through Apple. I don't know if we'll see anything iOS 6 related.
I really wonder.
There were reports of tablet devices that were detected by Ars Technica that were using iOS 6.
Yeah.
So
he says they sold 315 million iOS devices. Talks about how one of our favorite new features of iOS is Siri. Siri is your best. Oh, they sold 62 million iOS devices in one quarter alone.
Just last quarter.
315 million through the rest of the entire year last year. 62 million in one quarter.
Siri
Insane.
is your best friend. We've talked about it here on the show. Siri is cool. You love Siri for voice text. So I just still don't see people, other than using it in your car, I don't see people using Siri in public. Like, every ad is like, talk to my phone like that. I have not seen a single person Siri their phone like that yet.
I do that.
In public? What do you say?
Oh,
Siri, find me a recipe for cookies.
I do reminders all the time.
Yeah.
And I speech to text constantly. I did it on my Android phone too. Like, I don't care. I'll do it in Target. Like, there's no shame in my game. Today he announced they're bringing Siri to Japan, and then they gave a cute little demo of Siri in different languages.
Yeah, that's one of
Here's what Siri sounds like in French.
That's one of the updates that they've rolled out for iOS 5.1.
Il ne devrait pas y avoir de pluie pour ce week-end. It doesn't look like rain this weekend, Siri said.
Really?
That was really good.
Thanks.
Okay. Did you ask
I took
Siri,
a lot of years of French.
What's the weather look like this weekend?
Oh, that's from a screenshot. They took a picture.
Oh, okay.
He was showing. He's doing like a little demo of what Siri sounds like in different languages. Anyway, I speech to text everywhere.
Yeah, I think
but
speech to text is the
French.
functional use for it. But I don't know about. And they can always say
Whatever,
whenever
dude,
there's
seriously.
hiccups, it's beta.
It's a beta. Parts of iOS 5.1 are available today. It is rolling out, like we said, to Japan over the next few weeks. They did Siri with an Aussie accent, apparently, which sounds adorable. By the way,
Siri?
we may have the video. We're getting video like fed to us in chunks as this keynote goes on. So we will probably be able to, probably after the coverage is over, drop in some little video chunks of, Siri.
Just so you guys can see some of what it looked like an hour ago.
You can compare her French to mine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good.
All right. So we're still on some of those iOS updates. iOS rolling out today. Updates. He says you cannot, by the way, talk about the post-PC world without talking about, of course, the App Store. And actually going into today's keynote, there were already some changes to the App Store.
Yeah, they were just doing some different categories, how they were going to start supporting catalogs. So if you guys miss your little SkyMall catalog that you see in the plane,
and who doesn't?
And who doesn't, right? There's going to be a section in the store, the App Store, that supports those catalogs. That was kind of one of the, because whenever there's any type of news, everyone's going to be like, catalogs, oh my gosh!
Oh, yeah. He said there are 585,000 apps currently in the App Store, that it is a wonderful and hugely profitable cycle, and that the 25th billion app was just downloaded in China. He's now talking about iCloud. He says they're up to 100 million iCloud users because it's simple, elegant, automatic, and it just works, except for PhotoStream, which is terrible.
Well, they're fixing that in 5.1.
For God's sake, get it fixed already.
The ability to delete a photo from your photo stream is getting fixed in 5.1, which was a big deal. 100 million customers on iCloud. I mean, it is a free service, so it's gonna. If they've sold, let's see, 62 million iOS devices in the past quarter, right?
Mm-hmm.
Probably, let's say, a large amount of those are going to be iCloud people, and then the stalwart users. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, it makes sense. 100 million. I mean, you do have to turn it on. It's not on by default, so that's 100 million pretty active users, I would say. It's pretty useful for everything but PhotoStream, which is terrible.
They're also announcing today that movies and TV shows in the iTunes Store support 1080p HD quality, and this is a big move moving forward. This is kind of following almost a theme of HD we've talked about, and rumors are that, with supplies, pretty much 98% of stores have no more Apple TVs. This would support that.
And in fact, at least one live blog I'm looking at says, aha, new Apple TV, because they're saying, well, I wonder what you'd be able to watch that TV on. So it sounds like they are announcing at this moment, a new Apple TV has been announced. It supports 1080p with a, quote, streamlined new user interface. So still not a basic iOS interface.
It looks like the same Apple TV, the same black box.
Mm-hmm. But 1080p finally, which is very exciting. And then obviously all the same, I'm assuming all the same kind of rental options, but we'll obviously, updates are still incoming. But so there you go. That was another big rumor. Will there be an Apple TV announcement? Kind of, I guess, good to get it out of the way up front before you get to the meat.
Yeah, it's not like it was the actual Apple TV. What if they just dropped
I really did not think that was coming.
What if they just dropped it on us? That would have been hilarious, but no.
And here's a television. Well,
and
you
boom.
never know.
And boom.
You never know.
All right.
Endless, I think, is absolutely right in the chat room. He says, no one cares about Apple TV. No one's ever cared.
Well,
I'm sorry, but I agree.
I think
I just don't care about Apple TV.
There's a group of people that care. I'm not saying that I'm one of them, but they sold something like around 2 million units of it, which is, is really small considering the whole scope of their product line, but it's still semi-ish significant.
You will be able to re-download past purchases from your new Apple TV, plus obviously the iCloud movies. You can also get your iTunes playlists from iCloud, which is nice, actually. The iCloud integration is a good feature to have with Apple TV, because that whole home streaming stuff that Apple had tried just never seemed to go quite as smoothly. Eddie Q, by the way, is up now giving a demo of the new Apple TV.
Yeah, it looks like our live blog is back up and running with updates. One of the pictures that we're looking at a variety of blogs to kind of cover this for you, but the new interface now, it has kind of those tiles at the top, but below now you'll see different icons for movies, TV shows, music. They're kind of rectangles with curved corners and color coded. So they've really started to, instead of having this navigation of a bar across the bottom, it's specific icons.
Mm-hmm. Jesse550 points out in the chat room that OS X Mountain Lion has mirroring with Apple TV, and if they add 1080p mirroring, then you kind of do care a little bit more.
Yeah, some
I
other.
just want all of the web streaming features. The big limitation for me, I mean, this cloud stuff is great, but the big limitation for me with Apple TV is that it's just iTunes content.
and
I
Netflix.
still want, yeah, but I want
I mean,
I want the whole world.
I
Of,
know,
like,
but
the Roku,
Roku's the
cable
only
cutting-
box that does that, though.
cable cutting stuff.
Roku's the only. There was that article that showed recently that cable subscriptions had actually increased, and
Really?
cable cutters, the whole cable, but they're increased because they're kind of restricting people from trying to go over to cut
That's
the cable.
very true. Yeah.
One of the other kind of cool or interesting details about this is that, yes, we talked about full 1080p video photos, 1080p video, but photos will also be up on your TV with the photo stream feature. That's actually been implemented, but it will be supporting up to 1080p to display the higher resolution content. They're also showing the UI for movies, which is now more like cover flow. So where you have those icons that sweep across, kind of like record albums, and you can sweep across them for the navigation. They had that in the original Apple TV. At least it would show a preview like that, but you couldn't interact with it.
Right.
So this will actually offer the cover flow interaction.
And for those of you pointing it out, yes, we do know that Roku also has 1080p. We're just only reporting on Apple News right this moment.
Yeah. I know. Let's just yeah.
Can we have a blanket statement of sure somebody else probably already did that, and then we're good. And then we're good. We're good.
Are we good? Okay.
It recommends movies based for you based on what you have seen. A long press of menu brings you back to the home. A short tap to bring up a pop-up menu. And they're kind of just showing how movie viewing works.
Now they haven't said yet, and maybe they will by the time I say this, if this is actually going to be a brand new physical Apple TV that you can only get with this 1080p support, or if this
Right.
is a software update. Because technically it could be, but they haven't said anything yet. So I'm just saying,
Right. I doubt it.
if there is the new A5X processor that was rumored beforehand, and if that is specific to this product and specific to displaying the 1080p and some of the other content that they might be bringing to the table, then it might be a brand new product.
Yeah, it sounds like Josh Lowenson says, so 1080p so far seems to be the only new feature. It's just a redesigned UI that looks a little more like iOS. No, Tim Cook is back. He's saying that it is a new box. The price is $99 and it will be available next week, but you can order today. He said, I would encourage you to do that. Really?
Okay. Now this is the moment everyone's here for. Tim
All
Cook
right.
now just said that brings us to the iPad. We think the iPad is the poster child of the post-PC world.
And he said it surprised virtually everyone with its success. I will confess, I'm one of them who was surprised. The momentum has been incredible. They sold 15.4 million in the last quarter. How'd they sell the 0.4 million?
Yeah. That's,
Oh, 400,000. No.
For what?
Ignore me.
okay. Are you just talking out loud again?
Yep, mhm.
Okay.
Rob Red says
15
it's a total letdown, by the way, on Apple TV that there's more brewing. But anyway, for 15,400,000 in the last quarter alone. He said that's more iPads than any PC manufacturer sold PCs. HP, for comparison, he says, sold 15.1 million PCs total in the same quarter.
Yeah, here's a nice little image of some of the other manufacturers. And again, these are their PCs. Lenovo, 13 million. Dell at 11.9 million. Acer at 9.8 million.
Yeah.
That's
We don't
pretty-
know, by the way, Engadget points out, quite rightly, we do not know the sources for any of these numbers. Right now, the sources are all
It's
Apple.
Apple's. It's Apple's sources. You
So
can always
we'll
twist data
see.
your way.
He says it's hard to imagine a time without the iPad, quoting PC World. It's so ubiquitous and so entwined in mainstream culture already that it is hard to imagine a time without it.
Oh, you know what? Look out, Walt Mossberg. You just got out quoted.
You did!
By Tony Bradley of PC
Oh,
World.
They have it's a new era at
It's
Apple. They have a
so-
new bestie.
Seriously. Right? And unfortunately, he'll probably get it before any of us.
Also, it's ubiquitous at 10 million units sold, or
10%,
15 million
yeah.
in a quarter,
And 10%
market share. There
Yeah,
you go.
clearly it's ubiquitous. Everyone has one.
Come on. He says, when we set out to create the iPad, we set out to create not just a new product, but a new category. In order to do that, the iPad had to be the best device for doing some of the things that you do most often.
Now,
And-
this is, yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh, he says, now this is a told her. When we asked the iPod users, they told us that's what they had done to be the best device that for the things you do most
Oh,
often. Did you
okay.
say that part?
No,
Did I not
just
complete your
got
sentence?
confused. Oh, the iPad users.
Yes.
Okay.
So Tim Cook is talking about
No,
how,
I got that. I think
Oh, okay.
maybe you said iPod or I heard that, and then I got really confused.
Well, really,
Anyway.
every word we say here from now on is iPad. Let's just get that out
Only
of
iPad. Yeah. So anyway, big surprise. iPad users told Apple that they had succeeded with the iPad. But no, I mean, really, that it does have the highest customer satisfaction
Absolutely.
rating of almost any product. I mean, it really is remarkable. He said when we asked iPad users who had an iPad, a notebook, and a phone what their favorite device for email was, they said iPad. Same for books. I am not sure I buy that
I don't buy that.
because, at least me personally, no.
Depends on the type of user.
Users with a gaming console and a portable console said the iPad was their favorite for gaming.
This is clearly surveys from the casual user.
Well, some of the respondents probably did say these things,
That's what I'm saying.
but come on.
That's what I'm saying.
Same
This-
for web surfing. He said they overwhelmingly said the iPad was their favorite device.
Absolutely. I think it's really fun to web surf on. Unless, okay, let's get the Flash people out of the way. Yeah, I know it doesn't play Flash.
It's kind of my favorite for Scrabble. He said there are over 200,000 custom apps specifically for the iPad. I have to say, I think there should be more.
Wait, more iPad?
I'm surprised. I think the iPad app uptake has been slower than I would expect. Like 585,000 for the phone,
But do you feel you're
200,000 for the iPad.
But I know that, I mean, Eli uses your iPad a lot. Do you feel, though, you're missing anything on it? Because, I'm
There's
playing with
some.
that. There's some, but
Yeah.
overall, I mean, what would you want to see on it from an app perspective? I think there's a lot of stuff on there.
No, there's a bunch of kid stuff that he uses on the phone that I think should be that would like to see over on the iPad.
Well, that's kind of more of the development team's resources, isn't it? Yeah.
For sure. It's just I think it's been a slower uptake is all I'm saying.
I think it's
Like,
It
shoot.
just
Because
dwarfs-
he
it just
can't help
dwarfs
it.
anything
we
out
get
there.
We get into these events and he's like,
I don't know. No,
It's looking
I
way
just
on.
think it dwarfs. And I mean, if you talk about any other tablet platform, it destroys what else is out there. So
Oh,
if
yeah.
200, I know it does.
but I mean, for the App Store in general and development with iOS, I think that the app growth on iPad has been slightly slower than it has been on the phone.
okay, that's a fair statement.
Okay.
Okay.
Let's move on.
Yeah, let's move on. Tim Cook continues to talk about some of these apps. He says
And how great they are.
these
yeah.
are groundbreaking. In some estimations, there are over 100 competitive tablets that came to market last year, and you won't find that great experience. Of course, that's Apple's words, and that's arguable. Now, right now, they're
showing
showing
up a
Twitter.
Samsung tablet too. And
Oh, here we go. Here we go.
Sucks
He's still
comparatively.
learned a few tricks from Steve Jobs' little bag. It's like, let's show you the execution of the Samsung tablet.
For example,
Well, you know what they
which is
didn't show?
fair.
They should show the Asus Transformer Prime because that is the best Android tablet hands down on the market.
Well, why would they do that?
Because
It's a good one.
exactly.
One interesting note back to while we wait for some further updating of these various live blogs, the Scott Stein, our own Scott Stein from CNET, is pointing out that the new Apple TV, despite some rumors, doesn't appear to have apps. Speaking of apps, that was one of the big speculations. In fact, Rob Red, our tipster, has been saying for like a year that Apple TV was going to get apps, and it still hasn't.
Well, it eventually will. I mean, yeah. That rumor still is alive.
Everyone's been wondering, says Tim Cook, who will come out with a product that's more amazing than the iPad 2?
Well, stop wondering, friends. We are. He's, of course, they are.
Let me guess. Samsung.
The new iPad.
Asus.
Asus, who?
Today we're announcing the new iPad, and it is amazing.
They haven't said
I
what
knew
the name
it,
of it
right?
is yet.
Drink.
iPad
No, that's what he said.
Amazing?
Yeah. We're announcing the new iPad, and it is amazing.
Oh, so they're calling it Amazing.
That's the iPad.
Yeah,
It's the iPad Amazing.
They're just going to call it new iPad.
Oh, everyone got just shut down.
The new iPad so far. He says, we are redefining the category that Apple created with the original iPad.
You know that image? Call me
image
crazy. It
looks
looks
the
slimmer.
same.
Doesn't it look slimmer?
Yeah, it does look that.
It
yeah.
looks thinner there. It looks like more curved, but I could be wrong. This is just one angle. Let's not get ahead of
I
ourselves.
know. All
Brian
we see
Tong.
right now is just the one.
I'm already frothing at the mouth.
But the taper, even Engadget's pointing out, the taper looks a little bit different
Yeah.
from what we've
Okay,
seen.
see?
I
I have better than 20/20 vision even through a person's photo
Look at
that was
you.
taken from distance. I'm just saying. Or it's pretty good.
Phil Schiller is up for a
Oh.
demo. I know. Come,
Come on,
Tim.
Tim. Just
Take
dominate.
the reins.
Dominate.
Phil Schiller says, hey, you want to know about the new iPad? No, we're good. I'm pretty fired up about the Apple TV. Come on.
All right,
Get to it.
the first thing that Phil has pointed to, 2 words, Retina display.
Ka-ching.
Boom.
Check that one
shakalaka.
off. Check that one off your little iPad bingo.
He says, until you see it, you can't understand how amazing it is. And I'm sure he said it just like that.
I bet he did. I like it. By the way, I'm not seeing any
Right
home
now,
button either. Any
Let's
home
see
button.
you are correct.
I know.
And yeah, I don't see a home button either.
I think the edge-to-edge touch
Oh,
bezel
man.
might
Oh,
actually
no.
be true.
Oh, man.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone's going crazy.
Oh, but now Chris Tuttle in the
Can you
chat room
turn
says
your
there is.
IV3GA, your IV3GA on your computer?
Oh, okay. Hold on.
All right,
Yeah,
he
let
says
me take care of that for
retina
you.
display for sure, and he says this presents a problem for us in presenting it to you because for the first time, an iPad has a higher resolution than this entire display behind him. He said that's a fun challenge.
That's unfortunate.
And he says to this day, no one has yet matched the retina display technology. Until you see it, you can't understand how amazing it is. Amazing.
When you turn on that new iPad, you're going to see graphics,
So they're
text icons, sharper than you can imagine. Everything you do is going to look stunning. So they have this image here of 2 tablets side by side, iPads. It looks like there's a home button in that image.
and they're trying to. It does, yeah. I think there is
It
a
was-
home button.
it was
or
the-
is it a button, or is
No,
it
it
just
looks-
like a little drawn-on button?
Looks like a home button.
It looks, you know what it is? That angled picture,
It's white.
probably because
It
of the
was white.
exposure,
Yeah.
it's blown out. But in this picture, it looks like there are home buttons. They're comparing the resolution. Text sharper than a newspaper, friends.
Whoa! That's
Photos
actually
will look incredible.
incredible.
Fonts look amazing. Amazing. It's a huge step forward. Forward. 2048 by 1536 pixels.
Pixels. I'm picking up what you're laying
I
down.
know. I was trying to like, hey,
I
are you
got
gonna
there
roll?
eventually.
Are you gonna roll with me?
I'm like, what?
roll with me.
3.1 million pixels, he says, the most ever in a mobile device.
That's awesome.
No.
Here, put it another way. This
I
is Phil
can't
Schiller's words. Put it another way. You have an HD TV at home, 1080p. An iPad has more pixels. That's incredible. So this is a really cool image
That's
that
actually,
they have here.
that is incredible. That it has
Showing-
more pixels than your television?
Well, here's the thing. Let's
That's
not get ahead of
cray-cray.
ourselves. Computers have always had higher resolution and more pixels than a TV
Because
set.
it's more pixels per inch.
It's always been the way. So this is kind of like someone at home that may not necessarily follow this that
What?
much. Oh my God, Ma! More pixels than my
TV.
It's like HD.
That's cray-cray.
That is cray.
One of the things I'm really waiting for, by the way, is the part where they get to how they're going to keep the battery going with
Well,
this,
we'll see.
because that has been one of the rumors going into this, that they have made some huge leap forward
Mm-hmm.
in battery technology, and I hope that they talk about that specifically, because these are, as the chat room just pointed out, 264 super power sucking pixels per inch.
Yeah, and it'll come down to what improvements they made on their processor. If it drops down by like maybe an hour, I think people are okay with that. If it drops by in half, they're gonna be like, "What the hell?"
Exactly, because one of the great things about the iPad is that battery life. That sucker has gotten me through some major flight delays
Yeah.
with my child.
So Phil Schiller here chimes in again. You may recall that with an iPhone held at a normal distance, your retina can't discern individual pixels. When the iPad is held at a normal distance, which is 15 inches, it's the same result. Now there's 4 times the pixels on the new iPad display, and we need a lot of horsepower. Here we go.
Here we go.
Wow, who could have set that one up any more perfectly?
He called me before this, actually.
Let's just do like the little softball.
It's never happened before.
Knock. Knock.
Whatever.
What? I'm saying, I'm giving you props, girl.
No, I know, it's true. Aha.
All right.
Let's see.
I have
We
the latest.
are
He says,
Still demoing. Oh, A5X processor is confirmed.
yeah, he says we needed even more horsepower for the new iPad and its Retina display, so we created the A5X chip. What is the X for?
Quad-core graphics. 2 words, people. Infinity Blade.
How does it compare? He says 4 times performance. It's a graphics powerhouse. And this is also going to kind of create an issue with the App Store, right? You're going to have apps that now are going potentially to dwarf what's out there. So there's, you're going to have to try and find out, are you going to develop just for this iPad?
Possibly.
Can it scale down? Where's that sweet spot
It does get
between
a
the
little
2
interesting.
models?
He says, compared to the Tegra 3, they say the A5 is twice as fast, and the A5X offers, as we said, 4 times the performance. He says that is enough about the display. That is the first new feature.
Everyone just started going, give me more.
I know they're like, okay. But good for them for, that is the one that everybody was waiting for. So they've given us that you've gotten that one right off the bat.
Yep.
Next. More?
New cameras.
New cameras.
According to the
An
live
eyesight
blogs.
camera, in fact. They're saying. I don't know what that means. I mean, eyesight is just their name for the cameras, but
Yeah.
So new cameras are incoming. We don't know anything more.
Eyesight is the name of their camera that was a FireWire attached camera that they had a long time ago
Right.
that was mounted on top of your computer
I loved that
before
thing. It was
before they
beautiful.
integrated into it. And they stopped kind of calling it Eyesight and just referred it to as FaceTime.
Right. Oh, yeah, that's a really good point. So I'm assuming that this is not
Thanks.
an external camera.
Well, it won't be an
I caught
external.
up slowly. Okay, so it's a 5 megapixel on the back with backside illumination, a 5-element lens, a hybrid IR filter, and an Apple-designed ISP. So similar to the iPhone, actually, doing a 5 megapixel, but really great sensor.
It's the iPhone 4 camera
iPhone 4
essentially
camera,
popped
exactly.
into this device.
Auto exposure, auto focus. Now they're doing a little demo. They're showing off some pictures from the beach.
There's also auto face detection, great edge-to-edge detail, autofocus lock. It's just a blast to use.
It's just a blast.
It's just a blast.
It's a blast to hold up your huge tablet like this and be like, click. Oh, I dropped it. Wait, click. Oh, it slipped. I'm
is that-
sorry, I don't get it.
Is that Jeremy
I don't
Lin?
get it.
Oh, Jeremy Lin. Whoa, baby.
Just let me be like, I got to hold this really. And then, oh, geez, I hope it's a lot lighter.
Will they make the Lin pad? That's what I want to know.
The
That
Lin
would blow my
pad.
mind. That would blow my mind.
All right, big feature number 3 is HD video recording now in 1080p resolution,
Hell yeah.
Okay.
which seems appropriate.
I'm down with that for sure.
That's awesome.
For sure.
Definitely.
Also, with all this extra power, they have iMovie for for the videos. I've got to imagine that iPhoto will be coming out for the iPad here at this announcement, integrated specifically with the new hardware. That was actually my scoop.
Totally.
I
That
couldn't-
was your scoop that you couldn't say before?
No one wrote it anywhere.
So when you say you've got to imagine, you're saying you know that?
No, I know that.
Dude, tweet that. You
No,
guys, we got a scoop.
But I didn't want to say it before because I have sources close to it that would get in trouble. But now that it makes sense, but it's going to have editing capabilities, right? It's supporting the new camera, the new processor is going to help drive that. So it's a competitor to what Adobe's been throwing out there on the iPad. Apple wants to still own that space.
Right.
They've never put out any iPhoto equivalent at all. So if that shows up, that's what it's supposed to show up. So for those of you listening,
That's exciting.
there's your little scoop.
iPhoto and iMovie or just iPhoto?
iMovie's already there, but
iMovie's already
iPhoto
there, right.
specifically with editing features integrated and into the whole ecosystem.
That would be great.
So-
And it would take advantage of the better processor too.
I mean,
for
you
sure.
you could use iPhoto on your computer right now and order books and photos. Why
Mm-hmm.
not do that directly from your iPad?
They're saying they have software stabilization built in because your iPad is heavy as hell to be taking video with. Oh, I'm tired.
People in the chat room are like, but I just downloaded Photoshop Touch. Damn it!
Oh, curses.
It's fine. It's still good, guys.
The
Calm down.
fourth big feature is voice dictation.
not Siri,
Not
not
calling
Siri.
it Siri,
Not Siri.
right? Voice dictation. An interesting distinction.
Let's not forget that the camera has temporal noise reduction.
That's right. The iPad, there you go.
Just want to let you know that, guys.
The
Just
iPad,
update.
like all great iOS devices, has a great keyboard. And now you'll see there's a new key on the bottom, a microphone, which they have introduced in their iPhone 4S camera as well.
This is
Or,
interesting.
Keyboard.
This is interesting because we talked about this before. Like, would you use Siri on an iPad? And I said, for the most part, no.
Just tap it.
Other than like speaking into it for that.
Right. But would people use it? But you know what? This is great for like the kitchen. Just tap it, speak into your iPad, and it'll dictate what you have to say. So great for web searching, especially if you're using it in the kitchen, and searching in general,
Yeah.
I guess. But interesting that it's not
Just you can't just talk to it from a
plain old
distance.
Siri. Yeah.
Well, one of the things that the iPad has done is it's really become it's become the most accessible computer when you're talking about people with disabilities and how they interface with it and use it. And so if you have to,
Fifth feature, 4G LTE.
okay, fifth feature.
Ho!
I was wrong.
Ho! I told you. No, I'm just kidding.
I told you.
I told you.
I told you. I told you.
I totally knew all of this. Duh. No one knows this. Get out of here.
Way to represent the internet there. That was good. That was a good impression of the internet.
It is.
Next generation wireless. It is official. They're taking the risk. Interesting.
I'm feeling
see
that.
Rob Red Silly like, I told you so. You guys can't stop yourself.
I told you. Hey, Rob Red, didn't you tell us apps were coming to Apple TV
I told
also?
you.
Huh? Where's that at? Where's that at?
The new iPad
waiting
supports
still.
HSPA Plus for up to 21 megabits per second. And if you haven't heard about dual carrier, and also dual carrier HSDPA for up to 42 megabits per second. That's faster than my cable at home.
LTE for a max of 72 megabits per second.
Insane.
It's amazing. You're going to love using it. See, that ish cray. Because that ish cray.
That ish cray.
Because
I'm you know what? I'm even gonna go so far as to say it's cray cray.
Uh-oh. Get out of here. You better watch yourself.
That ish straight cray cray.
You better watch yourself. That's cray. So
now they're doing a demo of HSPA versus 4G LTE.
Are they gonna use a Samsung tablet side by side to just make the comparison even more unfair? This device doesn't have 4G, but we still kick its ass.
How surprising is this though that the iPad is leapfrogging the iPhone in terms of connectivity and data?
Well, I think that's more of a
surprised.
but that's more of a timing thing, I think. More than anything. It's a timing thing because when the iPhone came out, what was it, September-ish of last year? It's been 6 months now since that time, so they've been able to see if they really want to do it. It's just the timing of, when they're comfortable with putting the tech in there.
I wonder if it's carrier related. I mean, I think it is. I suspect that the carriers probably said like, hey, can we do a slow start on the 4G? Like, it's easy to put it in a device like an iPad, which is a much smaller segment of users and going to be less of a strain.
I know the carriers hold a lot of power, but why would they tell Apple specifically, one of their flagship products, like don't put 4G in your product?
Because they don't want us to consume more data because that network can't handle it. And the iPhones are super data intensive.
I would just feel like but they would tell Apple specifically. Why not like some of the other smaller vendors?
Most of the smaller vendors don't have 4G phones. There aren't that many.
Yeah, I just don't see them.
Insane.
Actually, I know. We're just postulating.
We're postulating mainly because they're doing demos that, not surprisingly, show that LTE is faster than 3G.
Yeah, they showed a demo video of 5 photos being downloaded on LTE, even before one downloaded on 3G.
Oh my goodness, it was way faster. It has been confirmed, by the way, that it will be on Verizon and AT&T. It sounds
flavors.
Like the 2 flavors of 4G. So that's what it's like to use these high-speed networks. It's faster. You heard it here first.
Where's T-Mobile? Oh,
It's faster.
sorry, my bad. There's not a T-Mobile version. I'm
nubbins.
sorry. I apologize.
Poor little babies. Verizon and AT&T in the U.S., Rogers, Bell, and TELUS in Canada. By the way, I think we can now safely assume that 4G will be a feature of the iPhone 5.
No, that's not official. Whatever. I'm gonna wait till Apple.
I know
tells
you're
me.
going to call me cray-cray for that,
I'm
but I
gonna
think
wait
it's
till
true.
Apple tells me about that feature. I just don't believe it until I see it.
It will be on other high-speed networks around the world, Schiller has said.
Well, already, let's be honest. Right now, the iPad has already delivered what we, for the most part, expected, and there's nothing that they've done wrong here. What could be the next thing that we see? Are they going to show us another feature? We're at feature 4 already. So far up to this
We're
point,
at
we have
feature
the
5, actually.
feature 5 high-res
According to them.
screen, the EyeSight camera, right? We have the voice dictation,
which is not Siri.
and 4G LTE. So that's 4 features right there, right?
Yeah. I
Yeah.
thought he said that we were on 5, but whatever.
I think it's okay. 4 for 4G, get it?
Why? I think the no Siri thing is weird. I don't understand why they're not using that branding.
Yeah.
I want to investigate further after this is all over.
Both models, they say, as you remember, this is Phil Schiller talking, when 3G started showing up, there were many different bands. The same thing is happening on LTE with many bands around the world. So we'll have 2 versions in the US.
That's a bummer.
Both are 3G world ready. We've added software to make it a personal hotspot if your carrier supports the personal hotspot feature.
I think it's kind of a bummer that with all the promise of LTE being basically a GSM-derived technology and potentially backwards compatible with GSM, that it still is 2 different devices.
Yeah.
Be cool if you could just buy one. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, personal hotspot, good.
Confirmed home button.
It's more. It's
There we
more
go.
of the. But it's more of the. Like you said, it's a GSM, but it's more of the bands that the different carriers support, right?
Yeah. I mean, he says it has the most bands ever. The most wireless band that has ever shipped.
It's always the most that ever happened.
Of course it is. The most of the most and the most of the thing.
The most evars.
That's Josh Lowenson at our blog says that's a rundown of all the features, but he is assuming that there is one more thing.
What if? Come on, my friend.
By the way, we're only 37 minutes in.
There's no way.
Yay, Phil Schiller. I mean, yay, Tim Cook. It's so speedy.
Could they do it in
They're
an
getting
hour?
right to the point. I don't know, but that would be awesome.
When is John Mayer coming out to sing?
I'm assuming that we are any minute now going to start talking about the size or the shape or the something,
here-
or maybe the battery.
Yeah, here we go. You're funny. They are talking about the battery right now.
Aha.
Phil Schiller says, you may be thinking a lot of these technologies consume a fair amount of power, so how does it do on battery life? You may recall we claim 10 hours of battery life and 9 hours on 3G. Here we go. We're going to have to wait for the dum-dum-dum.
No, he says it has still 10 hours of battery life and 9 hours of battery life on 4G.
That's huge.
What?
That's huge. That is huge.
Did they hijack the LHC and use the Higgs boson to travel in the future
That's-
and get some battery technology and
That's
bring
a
it back?
big
Because
freaking deal.
9 hours on 4G?
It remains amazingly thin at 9.4 millimeters and light at 1.5 pounds. I have to check that because there were rumors that the casing was about a millimeter thicker. I can't remember what the iPad... If someone can check this up for us.
$499 for 16 gigs.
What?
Yeah.
What?
That's
Yeah,
very
that's-
competitive.
They managed to do this thing at the same price.
Of course they did.
That's
great.
awesome.
Yeah.
I'm not going to
this is
make any
great.
inappropriate comments now, but
What were you going to
just
say?
saying that wasn't fun times at the factory. 1.5 pounds is the weight of. I mean, but really, how do you do that? How do you squeeze
Well-
out that margin, the margins that they want, and stay at $4.99? That's insane.
But it's just the technology that they have in the older current $499 one is a lot cheaper now. It's always it's always been that way.
that Retina display is expensive. The 1.5 pounds, by the way, is the weight of the original iPad,
So
which
same.
got a
So
little bit
someone-
lighter
all right.
with iPad 2.
Thanks for confirming that, guys. That's why I
but-
need you.
Oh, I remember that.
Okay,
I remember that.
So pricing, right? $499, $599, $699. This is across the board for the Wi-Fi versions, and then $629, $729, and $829 with the 4G feature. This is the date coming out, March 16th. March 16th.
That date was reported earlier. It turns out it's
I'm
correct.
going to be on a plane.
Pre-orders start today. Brian Tong just left the room. He just left the room.
Forget this
That's him.
crap.
That's him typing apple.com/store.
Where's my credit cards in my office?
Oh,
Funny,
Has
funny,
someone
good
someone
friends.
not memorized
It's-
their
it's
credit
all-
card number? You fool!
It's all right. It's all right. It still will be back soon.
You can't live in the tech world without memorizing your credit card
Wait.
number.
Maybe if I go to the Apple Store app on my phone, it'll give me
will-
early access like it did the last time.
It'll launch in the U.S., Canada, UK, France, Germany, Switzerland, and Japan simultaneously. They say that is Apple's biggest rollout ever. By the way, we have heard pricing for the entire lineup, which is exactly the same: $499, $599, and $699 for the 16, 32, and 64 gig models. $629, $729, and $829 for 4G. No word on the monthly cost or whether you will have to have a contract.
All right, now
the 4G
he's
models.
transitioning over and saying back to the software.
Oh.
The
really?
The team has worked really hard to make all the software look gorgeous and take full advantage of that Retina display. Everything's been fully updated to take full advantage of that amazing color and resolution. Give me just if I'm wrong.
Later, you're like, come on.
just do it.
Give me my iMovie.
Just do it.
So they really are just calling it the new iPad.
Yeah, we haven't heard a name yet.
You know,
have
what's
we?
iPad.
you know what's the beauty of this thing? Okay, here we go. As you'll remember, when the iPhone 4 went to the Retina display, developers didn't have to do anything to make their applications run on the Retina display. Everything will still look great, but if developers take a little time, as with the iPhone, they can do stuff that looks amazing and incredible on the new iPad.
This live blog that I'm watching just said, still no name on this thing. They keep calling it the new iPad.
You know what? They just do that to screw with people, right? Because it's like, oh, you guys think it's the iPad HD? Guess what? In our marketing little slideshow, we're going to actually remove that HD and just call it the new iPad.
1.5 pounds is pretty heavy. I just want to remind you guys. I think
What?
the old one's
For a
pretty heavy.
tablet? Mm-hmm. It didn't seem heavy to me at all.
A few developers got early access, so they are doing some demos of apps that are going to look cool on the Retina display.
Molly, how heavy do you want this thing
part.
to be?
This is the part where we tune out and we talk about other things.
So wait, you said 1.5 is too heavy. How heavy do you want this thing to be?
I'm sorry, it was too heavy.
But what would be
What was
an
the
adequate weight?
iPad 2 is?
Hey, Ariel, wait, come here,
look
come
at
here.
that!
Come here, get in here. Ariel, my Applewhite producer, my BFF.
Got a friend in me.
Oh, sorry. He
got a
brought me my
friend in
very
me.
beat up wallet, and
Buy me one.
The only condition of Ariel dropping his wallet off is that Tong has to pre-order one for him too. He just said.
I did snuggle and nuzzle in his neck.
You got a friend in me.
All right, let's go.
Really,
I'm
dude?
just,
You're hilarious.
there's a lot of
He
people.
pretends
that
he's
assume that
joking, but he's totally not.
I'm totally not joking.
So here we are with the demos, and I'm sure it all looks amazing, but we can't really see it that well. So let's recap quickly what we have seen for those of you who, I don't know, maybe your live blog was not refreshing all this time, or our video wasn't refreshing. So the new iPad is just called iPad, which is kind of nice, right? We're done with the no more numbers.
At least for now, unless they change the name at the very end.
Exactly. So yes to Retina display. Yes to improved camera, which is now the 5 megapixel camera with all of the great sort of camera technology. Basically, that was the camera of the iPhone 4.
Calling it the eyesight.
It gets the A5X chip. The X stands for quad-core graphics. It gets 4G LTE. It also gets HD video recording, just like in the iPhone 4S. And now we're looking at some of the apps that are made possible by working on a Retina display.
Yeah, they're showing off a Namco demo with this cool fighter jet. All right,
Fighter jet.
that's cool. If they wrap this up by 11, these guys are like my new friend. Tim Cook's my new best
I know,
friend.
seriously.
But this is good stuff. So chat room guys, what do you think so far? I mean, we have people that are following along. Yay, nay, happy, disappointed. What do you guys think about this? You buying one? You're not buying one?
Yeah, I know. Let's have a real-time poll. Real-time poll. Yeah, there's no discussion on RAM. That's true. The chat room is pointing out that they didn't mention how much RAM is there.
Well, if you've noticed in past iPad events, they actually don't reveal the RAM inside. They never have. So this would be par for the course.
But if there's a quad-core and no RAM update, I'm looking forward to the teardown, I think.
You mean quad-core?
If they're doing the quad-core graphics in the improved processor with no RAM improvement or increase, I'm just saying I'm looking forward to the teardown to see.
Yeah. No. People are saying no, meh. Just got a Kindle Fire. Meh, no, maybe.
Yeah.
Overall, at least in our chat room of listeners, it looks like it's leaning more towards no versus yes.
It is. I think that's interesting. Well, you know what? Honestly, I really do think that anybody...
We talked about this before our show, the use
It's not
case.
an upgrade. Yeah, I mean, I think like from the iPad 2 to this, it's going to be noticeable. The changes will be noticeable, but because this is not a must-have product, it's never going to be a must-have upgrade. But that doesn't mean that they're not going to sell a ton of these to tablet buyers who don't have anything yet.
To be honest, this feels a lot like a little, and this is fine. This is what we expect because there's not really any more secrets. It feels like a little iPhone 4 to 4S, right? We're getting a higher resolution screen, all right? We're getting a few new tweaks that we expected, but I think everyone gets a little more caught up and they want to see a device that actually looks new to make it feel like they're buying a new device.
Right.
And I think there's definitely a psychology that is associated with that. I mean, this looks great, so I want to see the screen, honestly. The screen is the selling point.
I'm curious about the screen. I'm also interested, by the way, what do you guys think about the 4G and whether that's a big selling point for you or not? They didn't announce any 4G pricing. I'm very interested to see how expensive that is. I can't imagine it's going to be cheap.
They didn't officially announce it?
They didn't announce the monthly.
Oh,
they announced
okay.
how much the device will cost.
Got it.
But what, do you have to have a contract? How much is it going to cost per month? Will it be an unlimited plan? And then if not, what kind of data allowance are you going to get? Because, man, could you blow through a lot of 4G data on an iPad?
Yeah.
That's insane. So I'm very curious. There's no question that this is an evolution. It's not like I truly didn't expect any more than this today. And I think, except for maybe I really did think there possibly could be a smaller version. I don't know why. There is going to be one someday. You just wait.
No, I agreed with that.
But again, it doesn't matter, right? Apple is the only company selling tablets. It doesn't matter if this is an incremental upgrade. This is still 50 times better than anything else on the market. And everybody else can only now compete on price and get it together in terms of usability.
Yeah. or what the Asus Transformer Prime did is they gave you not only a sharper screen at the time, but a keyboard dock, more functionality. But those are its real selling points, right?
And the only
it's not the apps. Now, right now they're also showing off for all you people that are excited. Sketchbook Ink. It was kind of a sketching artistic program. They're showing that off on the Retina display, so probably more finite control. But we're going to talk about other things while we do.
I know, we totally are. They're on to Autodesk. Autodesk has a new engine for ink that takes advantage of the incredible graphics power of the iPad. Oh, sorry, that's on Sketchbook Pro.
So I'll go back to the 4G conversation really quickly while we're just hanging out here. I've always purchased the 3G models because whenever I've been on vacation, I like the fact that for a month, or I put down money just for that moment if I want to, just to use the service for a month. Now, I didn't like the 3G connectivity because it wasn't that great, but when I see these 4G speeds, just to be able to have that ability that I use only maybe twice a year, right, when I'm out on those lovely islands. But it's nice to actually have that, an actual internet that feels like real internet speeds. So I'm probably going to lean towards getting a 4G enabled one. Not that I'm not going to pay the monthly costs. That's just, again, that's a user. I don't think that's a majority of people, but it's a use case thing. Like when I go on my trip, I don't even bring my laptop anymore, right?
Right.
But I want to be able to get access to things. I don't whip out an iPad on a beach, for all of you wondering. First world problems, nah.
I really want to get an eyeball on the Retina display. Phil Schiller is back, and he's talking some more about the display, saying that using your finger to draw on a display that you can't even see pixels on is amazing. And go to the live, if you're not there, go to the live blog and look at the picture of the flower that they basically just drew on the Sketchbook Pro. I mean, it is beautiful, and they just kind of, you did it with the drew it on there with the finger. Look at that. It's so pretty.
Yeah, it is pretty.
The third and last demo, he says, Epic Games.
Uh-oh,
No
that's
surprise.
Infinity Blade. Those
I
are
know.
my friends from Infinity Blade. All right.
What did we say, right? Infinity Blade. Boom.
Infinity Blade
basically-
RD.
It is
Retina
the
display.
game of the eye devices.
I mean, I got bored of it, honestly. I think there's a lot more fun games out there. But I did. I was like, hey, let's just slice my finger. Like, I'd rather play Fruit Ninja.
I was just going to say it sounds like Fruit Ninja.
It's like,
I bet it's going to be pretty epic. Get it? On this one, because Epic Games. Get it? Because Epic Games.
okay.
They're raising the bar for gaming with the new iPad with Infinity Blade Dungeons.
Oh my gosh, really? Really?
It's way more exciting if you say it that way. Dungeons.
Can we get some like reverb on that crap? This is embarrassing.
Infinity Blade
Dungeons.
All right, what's the over-under on one more thing? I'm thinking no.
They don't do one more things as
No,
much anymore.
there hasn't been. I mean, it's so funny because everyone's like, do you think Tim Cook will still do one more? There has not been a one more thing that I can think of in like 2 or 3 years.
Well, let's see. But they're not gonna. They're just gonna do a recap after these demos. Where's iPhoto?
What's the deal with Siri? I don't understand. I don't understand.
Whoa! Look at those. Okay, on our CNET page, I know it's a wide shot, but look at the pictures of that game.
Yeah, it looks amazing.
I'm kind of
See, you're back. I knew you'd be
kind of
back.
jazzing in my pants.
I know. I was sitting there like, yeah, you'll be back.
They always come back.
They always come back
They
to
always come
Infinity
back.
Blade. Come on, it's Dungeons. They have HDR graphics and tone mapping. They're showing off lots of beautiful
Whoa.
lighting and action.
So you can zoom in, pinch to zoom, and everything shows up in detail.
That's
Okay, that's
insane.
this is not the Infinity Blade we know. This is more like a Diablo game. So I'm totally in.
Uh-huh. I knew it.
What a jerk.
Dungeons.
We're just as fickle as you, internet.
Mm-hmm.
Let's just be honest. Let's just be real. Let's call it how it is.
I'm out. I don't really care.
You're like,
But it looks fun. I know. I'm like, I'm the one who acts all excited about it, and then you're just like, dude, that is awesome. And I'm thinking, I don't know. If they made a book out of this, I'd probably like that. They're going over some of the technology they use to make the games look better, including depth of field post-processing, which in English means, thank you, Josh Lowenson, that background and foreground elements look all blurry and pretty.
Oh yeah, that's in console gaming level type stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you get that when you have 4 times the graphics power.
The Unreal Engine is unleashing the power of the new iPad.
Well, I was just
Unleashing the power.
4 times, yeah.
Unleashing.
That's right, baby, 4 times. I'll stop doing that so people will still pay attention to our
The guy
podcast.
from Epic Games is saying that it has more memory and processing than an Xbox
Oh
360.
my gosh.
Whoa.
Well, that did come out 5 years ago, friends. Let's just hold on. Let's not
What?
get too crazy now, okay? It did.
No, I know, but more memory and processing power than an Xbox 360 on the iPad, on the new iPad.
I believe that.
I do wish it had a name. Actually, it's going to be confusing to keep saying on the iPad, because then everyone's going to be like, "Do you mean that one or the other one or the other one?" And then you're going to have to go from iPad 2 to iPad, which sounds like you're going back in time because iPad 1 was not called iPad 1.
The best thing about this is it confuses retail workers everywhere. I like the iPad. No, the iPad 2. No,
Not
the
the
iPad.
2 and not the-
well, do you want the
yeah.
red? No, just the iPad.
See?
It'll be tough.
It's a problem.
They're gonna name it. Okay, if you guys want to go check out the website, since we're just hanging out and just doing a little dance, infinitybladedungeons.com.
Endless points out in the chat room that my phone has more power than an Xbox 360.
Well, you know what? Here's
That's
the
what I
thing.
like about you guys.
Here's the more accurate quote. This new device has more memory and higher screen resolution than an Xbox 360 or PS3. That's different than it's better than an Xbox. I'm just saying. It doesn't surprise me, but that's a little more accurate statement, The rest, you're all shut up, Tom.
I'm just laughing at the chat room coming up with names.
What are they calling it?
Actually, Rob Red says it's going to be called iPad 2012 internally, just like the computers. So they're moving to that kind of the more MacBook naming convention. That makes sense.
Just name it after a new species of animal. Oh, iWork. Guess
kitty
what?
cat.
Guess what's coming up after iWork, friends? You know what I'm talking about.
He's like, my scoop will happen, damn it.
All right, they
It will happen.
they couldn't have picked.
You
a
went from
better
Infinity Blade Dungeons to iWork? Really? I'm thinking, I know you didn't build
on,
it,
come
but I'm
on.
thinking maybe you want to end on Infinity Blade Dungeons and not on iWork. Oh my god, you guys, you can make new 3D charts and animations, builds, and transitions right there in your iPad!
You know what? I'm gonna dispute that because Keynote is amazing. Okay, Keynote. Now it's not as in depth as
Shut the
PowerPoint,
front door.
but Keynote looks hot as money.
Oh my god. I can't wait to make 3D charts on the new iPad. GarageBand and iMovie are also getting updates. They all cost $9.99 per
Come on,
app.
come on, give it to me.
He's like,
I'm gonna look like a fool.
do it. Do it. GarageBand is getting smart strings and a note editor, plus iCloud integration and sharing. That's cool. Then you can make a little song on your iPad and then share it with your Apple TV.
Well, as long as I can play with the G string, I'm good with that.
Charts. I'm just over here thinking
Builds
about,
and transitions.
I'm just
Let's
thinking
talk
about
Keynote a
3D
little more.
charts. That's all.
Let's just there's jam sessions. There's note editors. It's GarageBand. I've heard a lot of great
this
things
is
about
cool.
it.
You can have up to 4 iOS devices running GarageBand, and they can play together over.
That's what I was
Bluetooth
talking
and
about, the jam
Wi-Fi.
session.
Well, I was explaining how that works.
Oh, okay, thanks.
You got it.
Well, thanks, partner.
This is the part where we get punchy.
Thanks, partner.
Where we're like,
Yeah, shut up.
now we're getting a demo of how that works in video form.
John Mayer. Anybody? John Mayer? John Mayer coming out?
Dude, after you went Chris Martin, you can never go back to John Mayer. That's like, we went to Chris Martin. Woo.
Well,
You can't be coming back down to John Mayer.
In a Steve Jobs biography, he said that John
Apple
Mayer
my
was screwing it
heart.
all up because he's one of the most gifted musicians, but he's not doing it right.
That's true, because he's a turd. Because he's a complete narcissist.
iPad's a wonderland. Can he do that song? Because I think that would be amazing.
Your iPad is a wonderland.
Do-do-do-do, your retina display. Your eyesight, camera ways. You know what I'm saying? Do-do-do, do-do-do, da-da-da-da. I hate that part.
Oh, yeah, there we go.
Retina display. Your eyesight, camera ways. Your 4G LTE and those flowers that you take. Okay, we're done. This is stupid. I apologize in advance.
What do we want from that? I mean, what do they want
if
from us?
you
They're
want
talking about
the-
iWork, for God's sake. All right, the iMovie is also updated.
That was a good find, my man.
That was outstanding, by the way. You guys are smooth. Now we're on to iMovie. I am interested to see what they're going to do with iMovie since it can now manipulate
And
the
if
cool
you
1080p
want iMovie, you get it.
for $9.99.
I'm telling you, iPhoto has to be next.
It's coming.
Da 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 da. I'm just saying.
The chat room's like, I want this single.
And we'll work on the instrumental.
Now I have that damn song in my
Steven
head.
and I will
Really?
Steven and I will put together a little tune for the next BOL, okay?
Yeah.
Before we have our next BOL, even though I won't be here next week, we'll work on something. You want iPad? You make it. We'll stop the joke. We're just killing her right now. We'll stop. I
I
swear
know I
to
totally
you.
thought of one, then I was like, no.
So yeah, you can create. Oh, this is kind of fun.
And if you want 4G, you'll pay. Okay.
So they're adding some of the features that we found in iMovie to the iMovie version for the iPad. So movie trailers, that was kind of a fun little silly thing where you have these dramatic intros and breakdowns with notes. They're going to add that into iMovie. iMovie's fun.
iMovie's
Now, I
pretty
haven't
fun.
used it in a long time, but it's a fun product. So it works a lot in the same way with visual storyboards. It tells you what clips you need to throw in. Phil Schiller says the big deal is that now you can shoot 1080p directly from the device, then plug it into the app. So that is pretty hot.
Yeah.
Because you couldn't do that before because
Right.
it was 720p. Oh, well.
Yeah, I mean, this is all, and any time that you improve specs like this, the iPad has just been gradually iterating toward being a more content capable device, a content producing capable device. And so it's good that you now have all the tools that you would need. Well, not all the tools. Without iPhoto, you're still only part of the way, 2/3 of the way there. I mean, you have your charts.
They better bring it. Someone's
your
like,
3D
there
builds."
is no iPhoto Tong in the chat room. Seriously. I do appreciate the comments that says, keep your day job, Tong. I actually am a sidewalk singer, so I'm going to keep it.
He's a busker. Little known fact.
What's a busker?
A busker is a street performer.
A
street
busker?
musician, yeah.
I did not know that.
Not necessarily a musician, but any person, like a street performer who performs on the street for money. It's called busking.
Okay, seriously, I just learned something totally new.
Yeah. I learned it.
Every day I'm buskling.
Oh my God. Have you seen, I know that everybody in America has, but have you seen the Jimmy Fallon and Bruce Springsteen, the Neil Young, Bruce Springsteen version of
Shuffling?
I'm
Party Rock?
Sexy and I Know It?
Oh, no.
Because remember they did the Whip My Hair? Whip my hair. So now they've done a new one and it's I'm Sexy and I Know It, and it is hilarious. Maybe we can play it after we get done being bored by apps.
Yeah, this is iMovie impressed before, but some of the blogs are just saying how impressive this is. The fact that this is all being done on an iPad.
Right. And in fact, some
Wow.
are saying that it's impressive on any consumer platform. And now, in fact, it is being reported that today Apple is introducing iPhoto for iPad.
What?
And it is, get your shot glasses ready, amazing. It's amazing. Man, have you ever seen anybody so happy to be right ever about iPhoto? Just saying.
So I just did my that I
He
told you
laughed.
so stomp.
He threw his headphones down on the ground and he stomped over to the door because he was so right.
Ulam in the chat room, who called me out nicely a little while ago and said, there is no iPhoto. You know what? Boom shakalaka.
Dude, his rightness is stinking up the room right now. iPhoto! iPhoto!
Are people going to ever come back to our live coverage of the
wouldn't.
event? I wouldn't.
iPhoto lets you do much more than just the built-in editing tools. He says you now get smart browsing, multi-touch editing. I want to try that.
This is what I'm talking
I
about.
want to try that.
This is what I'm
New
talking about.
effects and brushes. I
This
want
is-
to try multi-touch editing.
This is no one was reporting this anywhere. I couldn't say it because I didn't want to reveal my source who's close. This is amazing. Brian's girlfriend works for Apple. No, she does not.
Effects, editing, photo beaming from device to device,
Yep.
and new photo journals. Dude, multi-touch editing. This is the one time you will ever hear me say this. I wish I was there to see this demo.
Well, you'll be there. Come March 16th.
We'll have the video later. In fact, we'll probably
Yeah.
just like replay this whole keynote from the start so that you can see the
Mm-hmm.
video of it later. Because some of these demos are going to be worth watching for sure. Randy Ubilos is out to talk about iPhoto.
He's the head
He's
of their.
the chief architect of
Yeah.
photo and video applications.
Yeah.
I just don't. It's one of those names I've only ever seen in print.
Unfortunately,
Never had
he
to
was
say
also responsible for the rollout of Final Cut Pro X, which was
It's true. It's true. But he
just
is
gonna
the guy
say-
who reinvented iMovie and took it from a program that made me want to literally commit a murder to a
Really?
program that I actually kind of enjoy using.
I like the new iMovie. I like
change.
the old iMovie. I mean, of course, I'm used to doing like regular Final Cut Pro editing, but I thought they're both great.
Ugh.
Ugh.
Don't even talk to me about the old iMovie.
But that was like 7 years ago.
I know, but I'm still mad. It was that bad.
What?
Mm-hmm.
You know I put together my demo reel and like a few tapes on iMovie way back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
Got me jobs. I'm not gonna hate on it.
It's true. Got you this job probably.
No, didn't. I actually had to beg for that.
They're bringing up the.
As a busker,
Oh, you had to busk for
I
that.
totally was busking.
He was standing out there on the street with his guitar, juggling.
Check out this is
So
this
they're
is
showing
cool.
off the editing tools now.
Yeah. We have like a screenshot from our CNET blog, kind of the layout. This is very similar to kind of some of your albums, but it's all, look at how nicely it's arranged on those beautiful shelves.
So yeah. Oh yeah.
I think, obviously,
get it.
but it's just one of those things. More than anything, the multimedia on this specific device is what's going to like blow people away with just how it looks, how it feels like. Ugh!
Oh yeah.
New iPhoto has a very bouncy, different feel from its OS 10 counterpart. We're getting a view of it and the new interface. This is from our own CNET blog. And here we go. Here's another look of kind of the navigation. You have your photos on the left-hand side. There is your main photo workspace area. Down on the bottom, you can kind of see like a cropping tool and like some of the icons that you've seen and a few more that I can't make out from the photo editing features on an iPhone right now.
Damn it.
What?
I just don't want this.
Whoa. Let's rewind. Let's rewind maybe like 10 minutes ago.
Oh no, I have not. I am not all the way. I haven't taken the leap all the way to want this, but I have taken the leap to. Damn it, I don't want this.
Yeah, let's just look at Molly historically. When she gets to that point, she's gonna get the device.
Very interesting.
The laugh says yes. Yes.
I'm not made of money, for God's sake.
You're not, but you're going to get this.
I got my Lytro. Pretty excited about that.
I'm not gonna make money. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, that's why I'm not made of money, because I was
Yeah.
like, oh, whoops. Oh, yeah, I ordered that, huh? Oops.
Guys, this is pretty awesome. It does multi-photo comparisons, works with images that you can import up to 19 megapixels.
That's insane.
The support on this is the juicy good stuff.
They're showing off the it's sort of scrolling through lots, like a huge number of pictures, and how you can manage that with the faster processor and just in general. It's pretty.
This
fancy.
is crazy. Like
You get multi-photo comparisons.
that's what. Yeah, I just said that. You
I
didn't hear me.
know. I didn't. Well, it sunk in slowly. I didn't hear that at all.
It has usual iPhoto features. You can flag things. You can share them. You can send shots to Twitter and Facebook. We've seen Apple, integrate this whole share sheet or just more sharing. Facebook's still not part of Apple's agreement with their APIs and platform, but Twitter very much a part of it.
Works with photos up to 19 megapixels. So there's a couple of pro cameras that will not.
I heard you say that, Brian.
So there's a couple of pro cameras that take raw file images that will
not be supported.
Not be supported.
I
was
think-
at least expanding that one.
I know. I just know that you didn't hear me say that line, but it's okay because I
Because
still
you
love
said
you.
219, so now I'm confused.
Well, up to 19. I probably said
Megapixels or the
yes,
sharing?
Yes.
So then what I was actually going to say that I think you didn't say is that you can compare up to 19 images.
Oh, it didn't I think I did say there was photo comparison.
Up to 19.
Hey Molly, do you want to punch me in the face right now?
Kind of.
Okay. There's also an auto enhance feature. It has the built-in horizon fixing tool. This is where you could the lines will show up and you can line up your picture because let's be honest, a lot of people are those crooked picture takers.
Oh yeah.
Especially the people that you ask to take a picture of you on their phone.
Always.
That take the worst damn pictures I've ever seen. Like their family photos must be horrible.
Yep.
I wouldn't want to be in their family just from that alone.
I want to laugh, but that's my grandma. My grandma is totally that person that all of our lives has cut the top of our heads off and feet and before digital cameras too. So not cool.
Let me get that building in the back. Yeah, you got the building in 10 other buildings. That's horrible. Come on, Grandma, pick it up.
Come on, Grandma.
Come on, grandma.
There's your little sound.
I do.
Come on, Grandma.
I like the auto enhance though, and so it's cool that it's going to have auto enhance built in, and then all of those other little nifty kind of low level features. I'm curious to see what, like Rob read in the chat room, like what are you thinking as a photographer? Because I have a good friend who's a professional photographer who uses his iPad as
Display.
his total portfolio.
Yeah.
And I'd be interested to know if he's ever gonna switch over and do any editing with it.
I don't know about editing for the pro user.
No, yeah, for the promo user, probably not. But like, just casual editing of
Yeah.
files as you upload them.
Honestly, I'm just glad that I don't feel like a total jackass and that iPhoto actually came. Like
It was like that important for
we
you.
didn't report it on CNET because I just couldn't. But it would have been really pathetic if it didn't show up and then it's like, oh yeah, the iPhoto's come. Like, oh, I just outed my friend.
You can touch the photo to darken or lighten things. Josh Lowenson points out there are currently, as with every Apple announcement, there are a bunch of third-party app developers that just went out of business. Because there were third-party apps that could let you do this, that could let you do some photo editing on the iPad, multi-touch editing and things like that. But now it's all it's all over.
It depends on what level they're out of business. Because this app is probably going to cost $10, just like iMovie and just like some of those others. And yeah, it has the Apple name, so it'll give them the advantage. But at the same time, from an editing perspective, this looks pretty basic to me.
Right.
Like this looks like the editing tools with a little bit of extra, pizzazz, compared to like what you have on your phone. So I don't know how the brushes are being used. I haven't seen that. Here we go. There's the brushes. Thanks.
Look at that.
Perfect timing. So
How helpful.
look at those brushes though. It's like a fan of brushes.
Look at them. It's all different kinds of brushes. It's almost like you could paint a picture with them.
What if you could do? See, yeah. I just want to see what other type of art effects. There's image color rebalancing. So this is the brush palettes you can rub over the image to make changes. What?
Nothing.
Okay. Maybe you can desaturate areas with a brush. That would be kind of cool, right? I mean, I know they have that in other applications. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. Right? Someone's like, you can do that in blah, blah, blah. Color splash, blah, blah,
You're so
blah.
angry.
I'm just covering our butts because everyone's just like getting all on us.
We already had our blanket stipulation that most of this has probably existed before elsewhere. That's the blanket stipulation. It's just that we're only covering this right now.
Except for the screen, that hasn't been done.
I don't know if they did say that they have no RAW support, Frank B.
They didn't outright say it, but
Yeah.
the devil's in the details. When they don't say something, a lot of the times it's
possible.
because it's not supported.
Sharpen, soften, darken, a general repair brush that has some magical sparkles spinning around the brush. I don't know why all the brushes are so necessary.
Well, repair
I mean, I
to
guess
touch
it's
up
just-
like flaws on your face. They have
No,
that
I
in
understand
iPhoto.
why the editing features are. I guess the brushes are just a useful sort of visual metaphor.
Yeah.
Okay. You can slide your finger over the effects to see it in real time. Each of those has its own little effect that you can mix and match.
Oh, so there's like effects on effects. Mm-hmm. I think that little fanning thing is a little awkward interface wise.
Yeah.
Like it just pops up out of the bottom for the. I'm just being picky. So,
I know,
so
now
let's
we're
not.
like-
Let's
now we're like,
calm
I don't
down.
know, I
Let's
don't
calm
know.
down, guys. All right.
This is a pretty long demo for iPhoto.
And didn't you say this was the demo you'd actually want to be there to see?
Yeah, now I'm over it.
Okay.
Mainly because we've just been here kind of a while.
You know,
These are
basically
all
because
the-
I'm sick of hearing your voice.
The built-in effects. There are more artistic effects like tilt shift is going to be built in, which is the hue. That's everybody's favorite thing in video right now and photos. Watercolor effects. Ooh, cool. The main issue, actually, and Gadget points out, the main issue here is that photos are still relatively locked to the iPad. There's yet another step to get them from iPad to Mac. Although, presumably, with PhotoStream, it would just upload even the...
Well, the trick with PhotoStream, it would be only
Edited
photos.
versions,
It would only be
or-
photos from your camera or your
Right.
iPad, not a digital camera.
They have got, like, stat. Apple has to fix photo management with iCloud. Like, why can't it just be like Dropbox, you know? Make it happen.
Yeah, like create some sort of Dropbox tool so I can just take my desktop pictures and throw them on there.
Just
Yeah.
put them up there because it's true. It is, it's starting to feel a little bit. Although Endless in the chat room earlier made a really good point, which is why do Apple users at this point even want, like a laptop?
Well, I still use it.
I still do, and I'm with you. Since I got the MacBook Air, I don't touch the iPad. I just don't. I like a keyboard. I can get more done. But I could see people potentially buying this instead of a MacBook Air if what they really want is just a lightweight internet-enabled device.
Now, here's some really cool stuff when we talk about sharing. On our CNET blog, they're showing over some of the journal feature, kind of the cool artsy layout of your pictures that can be fun, to share out. Also, you have a one-click make it look good option. Make it look good.
Make it look good.
Make it look good.
Which in Apple language means make it look oversaturated as hell.
Besides photos, you can throw in text, calendars, and maps in this journal feature. That's fun.
kinda
That's
cool. I like
real cool.
What does the journal do?
It's just like I went on this trip, so it's like, let's call it a little fun photo scrapbook.
Oh, like an album kind of.
Yeah.
Okay.
The best part about all these, whatever, yes, Shutterfly, Snapfish do it, but like when you make books with these apps and you score major points with chicks when you like take some photos, like just throw them in some template book and
I was
like,
gonna say
here you go.
parents.
Parents too.
It publishes to iCloud your journal, and then it outputs a link for sharing,
Okay.
like
cool.
.mac.
Yeah. That's good. Although they took down
it'll
my
put in a little weather widget, and so it'll say like what the
that's
weather was
cool.
like at the time. That is cute. Maps, dates, notes, and the weather, which pulls the date and location and pulls the archived weather data.
Hold on to your panties.
It's $4.99.
Available today. iPhoto $4.99. Available today.
So you can get this on previous versions of your iPad.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Phew, I'm saved. That was going to be
I'm gonna
expensive.
do a little iPhoto lookup right here, right now. Or let's just add a little burnt sienna over here.
You're hilarious.
Burnt sienna.
Phil Schiller is now saying, we've brought all of iLife to the iPad. Don't let anyone ever tell you that you can't create on an iPad. Man, that must have really bugged them. That criticism bugged them.
I would have had my own comment there, but I'm going to keep it to myself.
It did. He said it's a breathtaking piece of software. And Phil Schiller says, I'm going to download it the second I get out of here.
Yeah.
Is that even necessary?
You idiot.
Like, really?
He has it on his iPad already. That's what's the biggest piece of
He
crap
just
about
demoed
that
it.
statement. I'm going to download it right now. You have it.
Hey, guess
You
what they
do.
did? They made a video about the iPad, how much they like it, and they're going to play it now.
Sweet.
That's so.
That is
That's so what they always do every time.
it's pretty groundbreaking,
Adorable.
if you ask me.
So they're showing
Where
the video
is
now.
my iPhoto on my iPad. Okay, I'm
Look
going
at
to
him. He's totally.
I just want to see what it looks like.
Some people are reporting that the video sounds like it was narrated by Tom Cruise.
Will he be jumping on any couches when he gets the iPad?
I bet he will, because the iPhoto is just that exciting.
It is. I think that's really cool.
Rob Red says he's been trying to download it for 5 minutes, but it's not listed yet. I also wonder if it will be available for iPhones and iPod Touches.
I would say no.
I would say no.
The interface isn't made for the smaller screen. Oh, wah.
No, it sounds like it's only for the new iPad. Oh, no, the video. I'm sorry. The video is about the app, but Josh Lowenson said, sorry, this is for the new iPad.
This is the most disturbing thing about this video. On my screen right now, on this blog, it shows a family with a dude holding up his iPad in the sky.
He's taking pictures of video.
Unfortunately, this is going to start the revolution of iPad photo taking in public.
It's going to happen, isn't it?
If you have any type of thing to throw at someone, do it when
Just
you see
do
that.
it.
Let's just stop this right now. The whole Blue Tool revolution was embarrassing.
I'm sorry. You will see. All of you who were making fun of me in the chat room, you'll find out exactly how heavy 1.5 pounds is when you're trying to hold that sucker up and take a video of a parade going by.
Not for me.
That is the 1.5 pounds is the reason that I went back to my Kindle for reading books. Because I bought the iPad.
For reading books.
Well, yeah, but then it led to just like diminishing uses, right? Once I wasn't using it for ebooks, then I was using my Kindle, and then I was finding that I was just reaching over and getting my phone for things, and it just was like, if there's any barrier, 1.5 pounds is pretty heavy after a while. Let's see. It has simply been referred to as new iPad and third generation iPad still. Now Gidget is correcting themselves and saying that they don't think it was Tom Cruise after all. In like really important updates.
Someone jumped the gun a little. Tom Cruise!
Is that Tom Cruise?
They should just... Dude, Kiefer Sutherland has the dopest voiceovers.
I know. I want them to use... Yeah.
Wait. This is just news that he heard about the iPad, right?
Yeah, you just found
Everyone.
Okay, we just
Tom
found
Cruise
out about
just
the iPad.
found out about iPhoto on the new iPad.
It's like...
Brian Tong was right.
He can't contain
He can't
himself.
believe it.
He can't contain himself. This is ridiculous.
He can't believe it. Glacier Howdy in the chat room says it was Rich Little. I don't even know if that's true.
Oh man,
but
he
you're probably
is.
right.
Oh, he jumped. He hopped.
fired up.
He'll be back. I'm sure.
He's fired up.
He's not
We're-
done hopping.
Because they want to kill us, we're actually now looking at the subpixels.
Subpixel.
Okay, I want you guys to know that they have like a room in the back with these iPads in there.
Yeah.
And they're going to show them to the media so that people can do hands-on videos and get a look at them. And they're keeping everyone in this room right now and showing them a video of the iPad with its subpixels and everything, working on it, and then pictures of the chip. Like, ooh, it says A5X on it. It's so pretty.
It's cool. It's real cool.
And the quad core, it makes everything you do really fast and smooth. But
Dual
you still
core
get
with
your
quad graphics.
10-hour battery life.
Dual core.
Oh yeah, sorry,
processor.
dual core with quad
Quad
graphics. Yes.
Just want to make, you know,
That was I read that directly. That's actually a typo on a rival blog.
that they wrote quad
They
core.
said quad core.
Oh yeah, they
iPad.
shouldn't. Yeah.
Good catch.
Good job, rival.
A rival blog that we had to refer to because, you know, everyone's blogs kind of go down and out here and there. So
Yeah, I like a variety of sources. I thought our blog did pretty well. It sounds I noticed that every
There's a
live
hiccup.
blog that was relying on Scribble Live had problems. And in fact, the other rival that's using Scribble Live was like, let them know that they're sucking. Which I think was not cool, but funny.
not cool.
No, they are saying it is a quad-core GPU. Yeah, quad-core GPU, dual-core CPU, yes.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
phew.
We got that out of the way, guys. Don't yell at us anymore.
The Tegra 3, just as a technical note, has a 12-core GPU.
Well, hello.
Although Apple is claiming better. He's all mad. He's sitting there with his credit card like, oh, good for you. Tegra 3, you suck. He can't help it. He's a lover. He loves them.
I'm not a hater. I'm a lover.
Now the video is talking about all the bands on the new iPad, the Wi-Fi, the Bluetooth, the 3G, the 4G LTE. And now they're promoting iPhoto. So basically the whole keynote all over again in 3 minutes. As the people in the room are literally like they're chewing off their own fingers right now because they're just dying to get in there and get their fingers on the Retina display and they touch it and see it go and make it do the things. Make it do the things.
We're getting delirious in here, guys.
We are.
Let's just be honest.
It happens at the end of every keynote. If you've been here for our live coverage before, you know that this is what happens. We always get a little bit bored, but we can't leave.
Well, it's the promo video. It's like, we know Apple. They like to control the message, and they like to make sure you know everything they want you to know.
Yep. Did you see the video?
Let's be honest.
They say it looks like we are wrapping up. We're wrapping up.
Videos. Schiller's
Oh,
back.
wait. Maybe not. Schiller is back.
See, if Tim Cook came out,
I know.
They
Then it
would
would
be
be dishy. But
there's one more.
he's saying, I think the new iPad, what?
Oh, no, go ahead.
What people is iPad 2. He's confirming. Phil has confirmed that the iPad 2 will live on. I got one right. That the price will drop by $100, so it's $399 now for a 16 gig Wi-Fi model. See, now that I actually told someone yesterday who was like, I don't know about an iPad. I'm like, get an iPad 2.
We did say that we wouldn't be surprised if it stayed on shelves.
Mm-hmm.
So
that's good. This addresses, and this is actually pretty important, I think, because it addresses that price pressure.
absolutely.
And then he's talking about how that's really huge, that it's $399 for a 16 gig model, that new schools and users now can buy in at that price. Although I got to say, I think it still needs to come down
Schools
a bit
still
for schools.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yo, private schools around the country will be more than able to afford these products.
And also, once again, everyone made fun of me for this, but all the blogs now are like, that is really confusing that they're just literally calling it the new iPad. It is. That's what they showed the price matrix with a screenshot. Do you have it? And it says iPad 2. And then next to it, it says the new iPad.
I'd like to walk into a store personally and just look the person to that and be like,
I'm not.
I'd like
No
the
one's
new
going to be
iPad.
confused, but it's weird.
Thanks.
Tim is back.
The new I'd like the new iPad.
Tim is back.
I like the new iPad.
That's Tim.
Maybe some cool, crazy graphics gonna smash down and like the iPad's gonna like explode and it's gonna say like HD.
The amazing new iPad. A new affordable price for the amazing iPad 2. Amazing software like iPhoto and the rest of the iWork suite. I'm not making this up. That's how many times he said amazing. If you were playing the amazing
Did he really
drinking
say
game-
amazing that many times?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, the amazing drinking game is already a dangerous game for an iPad or for an Apple keynote, but dang, that one just sent some people to the hospital, Snooki style.
Yeah.
Now there's a new iPad commercial.
He said as he's wrapping up, we've redefined once again the category Apple created just 2 years ago with the original iPad, and now we're getting another ad about it.
That's amazing. Wait. We just saw. Oh God.
Wait, you mean you just showed me the iPhoto video on the iPad, and now you're gonna show me the iPad?
That's amazing.
You know, though, this is an interesting move because we're talking about how Apple is kind of changing and now allowing and having products at a lower price point that live with the family of the new stuff. They this is going to be a trend now moving forward. They've done this with their 2 flagship products, but they haven't done that in the past.
Yeah.
And so they're really trying to expand that consumer market where they know they have explosive growth, but even getting that net a little wider.
It's very clever, right? It's a very uniquely Apple way to do it because it's not Apple introducing cheaper products, which they are never going to do, and they can't do because they do put in very high-end components. Like I think it is bordering on unfeasible that they were able to introduce this new iPad with all that new technology at $499. I really do. Like, I am dying to see the iFixit teardown and see if they're taking a way lower margin on it. But I think it's very clever that they are addressing that price concern by continuing to make older products and make them cheaper. So they, in a way, Apple has a much bigger suite of products available than they ever have, but it's the old ones, the quote-unquote old ones.
All right, Tim Cook is just wrapping up with his mantra and theme for the day. It's the privilege of a lifetime for me to work with the most innovative people on earth. Oh, is there something new you're going to drop on me?
No.
Okay. He said only Apple can deliver this kind of innovation in such a beautiful, integrated, and easy way to use.
And then he says, 2012, there's a lot to look forward to. We are just getting started.
Did you see? Look! See that star right above the 12? That's an iPhone.
I think it is. You're right. Oh, can somebody take a screen grab of this and let's blow it up? We're going to blow it up and then we're going to parse it for clues.
There's a lot to look forward to, so I don't look back.
So wait, in 2012.
This is this year.
So that means it's going to happen. All these things are going to happen this year. So the iPhone 5 probably this year.
Maybe.
Oh boy.
Is that an Apple T? Oh God.
And there you have it, everyone. The circle of life. All the new Apple rumors start anew because one keynote has ended, but another awaits.
Oh, absolutely.
And we will see you right back here when that keynote rears its ugly head.
WWDC.
We'll be here.
WWDC. We'll see you in June.
We'll see you in June,
We'll
friends.
be back here. So, yeah, there you have it, right?
Go to cnet.com we already have a first take up, and our editors are headed behind the curtain now to get a video hands-on, which hopefully we will have posted ASAP. And we obviously just keep it tuned to CNET for all the details.
All right.
Okay. Thanks for joining us, everyone. For Buzz Out Loud fans, this will count as our regular show this week because Brian and I are both en route to Austin for South by Southwest. We'll have some cool coverage coming out of there, and we'll be back next week with our regular show.
iPad's a wonderland.
iPad's a wonderland.
iPad's a wonderland. Da 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 da. See you guys.